The Baseball Hall of Fame had its induction ceremonies in Cooperstown this past weekend. Last time this gentleman was on the show, I was saying, what a lot of people said. When you talk about best players or pitchers of a generation, this guy was exactly that. You knew it was a big game if he was on the mound. You knew if it was a big game to win, he was more likely to win it on the mound. And whatever was holding him back from going into Cooperstown is now a moot point. He is a Baseball Hall of Famer. He is Jack Morris here on the show. How are you, Jack?
I am about as good as anybody can be after a wonderful week in Cooperstown, New York.
So what was it like? Was it what you had always thought it could be?
It's hard to imagine that you vision something and it actually turns out better than that. But, the lesson I learned from it is time was on my side, and the love that I experienced from so many people was something I wish I could give everyone else so that our world would be a little bit more peaceful.
So, what's your favorite memory from the weekend? What are you going to remember? Jack?
I think my favorite memory is I was just blessed to go in with a class group of guys. The other 5 inductees got to know them a little bit better on a personal level, and I can truly say that they're just quality people, and they brought quality messages to so many fans, and gratitude for all of our accomplishments.
What would it mean for you to go in with Trammell, fellow Tiger, Jack?
It's like going in with your best friend, your little brother. It's somebody that helped me get there, enjoyed the process along the way from when we were young kids out of high school and college to growing into grown men in the baseball diamond, and now in the latter stages of our life, and still able to call each other friends and share great memories.
So, which now fellow member of the Baseball Hall of Fame did you meet for the first time, and kind of perhaps got a little bit awestruck, starstruck, overwhelmed to say that we're now Hall of Famers together?
I don't mean this disrespectfully, but I've pretty much known most of the guys. There wasn't anybody that I hadn't met before.
Okay.
And then there was several people that weren't there for various reasons that I would love to have been there to say hi to. Bob Gibson comes to mind, Sandy Koufax, those kind of guys weren't there. But with that being said, I think it just was an overwhelming feeling to have so many of the Hall of Famers that I knew in my heart were pulling for me for a long time, just somewhat relieved that I'm now part of their group.
Jack Morris, Hall of Famer here on the Rich Eisen Show. And just to look back in the rearview mirror one more time, why do you think it took so long, Jack, for you to get in?
Well, I think I was a guy that got kind of caught up in the old school way of thinking versus the analytics of today's generation, and a lot of things that determined how writers voted were brought into the world after my career. Numbers and formulas and all sorts of analytics weren't even part of the way I played the game, and some of those numbers weren't favorable for me, and that's probably why the discussion took so long for writers.
Well, I mean, when it all comes down to it, though, did you think maybe your relationship with media members had anything to do with it? No way, Jack?
Well, that would be on them, not on me, because I wasn't voting for them. They were voting for me. So if that were true, then you'll have to ask them.
All right. And I guess one more thing for you, Jack. The way that the game is being played today with all the relievers coming in, do you see anybody who's got a mentality in Major League Baseball today that is similar to yours or one that you respect?
Oh, there's a lot of guys. Right? So there's just a lot of guys. All the great pitchers of today's generation have the same mentality. Kluber, you go on and on and on. The difference is they're not allowed to do what we were allowed to do. And I really think in time, baseball will probably come full circle, and it'll go back to the way the game was played for 100-plus years, and that is the starting pitcher goes out there and dominates as long as possible, and then the relievers come in for the help needed, not necessarily a strategy of mix and match, righty, lefty, try to get the numbers say this guy gets tired after this many innings. It's destroying the game, in my opinion. 4-hour games are nothing that anybody wants to watch. Nobody goes to a ball game to see 14 pitchers pitching a game. They usually, for generations, they went out to see two guys battle against each other.
So nobody ever came to you and said, Jack, or the numbers show that the third time around in the order, you're a little bit weaker, so you're coming out of the game? That never happened to you, Jack Morris?
Never happened to me once in my life. Never.
What would have happened if that had happened in your life, Jack?
I would have got better the third time around.
Great answer. Great answer. You'd have got so how could you have done that, Jack Morris? How could you have done that?
Well, I think for most athletes in every sport, when you tell them they can't, that's what motivates them. And, I just think that's what's built inside of the great athletes. It's an edge that everybody has, and you want to prove to them that they were wrong.
Well, Jack, like I said, prior to you coming on and the last time when you were on, I just knew that whenever you were on the mound, it was going to be a long night for whoever, or short night for whoever you were pitching against, and then just some of these great games that you have pitched in the history, and then refuse to come out of the game and give the ball up. You deserve the enshrinement. So thanks for coming on.
I appreciate it, Rich. Thank you.
You got it. That's Jack Morris, Baseball Hall of Famer.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.